Ray conducted an experiment to find out which colored light is the best for photosynthesis. He prepared 3 setups, each with a different colored light, and measured the height each of the oxygen gas produced after 1 hour. What is the other substance that is produced during photosynthesis? Food/glucose/sugar. Explanation: glucose is produced during photosynthesis. B. Why must the experiment be conducted in a dark room? To ensure that plant only took in the colored light from the lamp / to ensure that no other light sources would affect the results of the experiment. Explanation: the key point to mention was that conducting the experiment in a dark room ensures that the plant only absorbs the colored light from the lamp without interference from other light sources. This is crucial for obtaining accurate results. C. Under which light would the water plant grow the most? Explain your answer. White light. Height of oxygen gas after 1 hour is the highest / greatest. Plant would receive most light to perform photosynthesis the fastest, producing most food to grow the most. Explanation: elaborate on why this is significant for the plant's growth, specifically mentioning the role of photosynthesis and how it leads to the plant growing the most. Study the concept map below. E. State what process A is. Explain why process A is important to living things. Photosynthesis. Process A produces oxygen, which is used by living things / organisms for respiration. Explanation: it's important to explain why this process is crucial for living things. Remember, photosynthesis is not just about making food for plants. It also produces oxygen, which is essential for the respiration of living organisms. B. State what process B is. Explain why process B is important to living things. Respiration. Process B uses food and oxygen to produce energy for life processes in living things / organisms. Explanation: respiration uses food and oxygen to produce energy for life processes in living things. The diagram below shows a terrarium. It consists of a sealed glass jar with plants in it. The soil is watered and some insects are also found in the terrarium. The glass jar is sealed and the plants continue to get oxygen. Explain how the plants continue to get oxygen and survive. Plants can receive light for photosynthesis / make food, producing oxygen to survive. Plants respire to produce carbon dioxide needed for photosynthesis. Explanation: the plant is carrying out photosynthesis, which is essential for its survival. Plants also respire to produce carbon dioxide needed for photosynthesis. The focus should be on how plants themselves manage to get oxygen and survive in a sealed environment. Ray set up an experiment to find out if the clarity of water affects the amount of gas produced by a water plant. A lamp was placed 10 centimeters away from a container with a water plant and water from a pond. After 2 hours, some gas was produced in the inverted test tube. He measured the height of the gas formed and repeated the experiment with water samples from 2 other ponds. Which water sample is the most polluted? Explain your answer. The height of gas produced was the smallest. Least amount of light could pass through the most polluted water, so plant received least amount of light. Photosynthesis took place at the slowest rate, hence producing least amount of oxygen. Explanation: water sample R is the most polluted because it produced the least amount of gas. The most polluted water allows the least amount of light to pass through, which means the plant receives less light and photosynthesis occurs at a slower rate, producing less oxygen. B. State 2 variables that should be kept the same. The amount of water / size of test tube / size of beaker. The type of water plants / distance between lamp and beaker. Lin made a toy turtle using a rubber band and a ball of plasticine. Lin moved the toy turtle backwards. What happened to the rubber band when she did that? The rubber band became twisted / stretched. B. How did her action in A help the toy turtle to move? When the rubber band was twisted, it had elastic potential energy, which was converted into kinetic energy of the toy turtle, allowing the toy turtle to move. Explanation: the key concept is elastic potential energy being converted into kinetic energy. When the rubber band is twisted, it stores elastic potential energy, which is then converted into kinetic energy to move the toy turtle. C. How can she make the toy turtle move further? Explain. Twist the rubber band more times. When the rubber band was twisted more, it has more elastic potential energy, which was converted into more kinetic energy of the toy turtle, allowing the toy turtle to move further. Explanation: the key idea is to twist the rubber band more times, which increases the elastic potential energy and subsequently the kinetic energy, allowing the toy turtle to move further. It's important to focus on how the energy is stored and released in this context. The diagram below shows a ball moving down a ramp. What is the energy conversion as the ball moves down the ramp? Gravitational potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. Explanation: it is gravitational potential energy that is being converted to kinetic energy as the ball moves down the ramp. B. What will be the difference in observation if another ball of a larger mass is used? Explain your answer. The ball will roll further / take a longer time to stop/roll down faster. When a ball of larger mass is used, the ball has more potential energy, which is converted to more kinetic energy, allowing the ball to roll faster/further. Explanation: in this case, the ball of larger mass has more potential energy, which is converted to more kinetic energy, allowing it to roll faster. C. Explain why the ball stops moving after some time. All the kinetic energy is converted into heat energy and sound energy. Explanation: the kinetic energy is converted into other forms of energy, such as heat and sound. The diagram below shows a hydroelectric power station. A. What is the energy source? Running water. B. What would happen to the amount of electricity produced if the dam was built higher and more water was stored in the reservoir? Explain your answers in terms of energy conversion. When the dam was built higher, the amount of potential energy possessed by the water would be greater. This would be converted to more kinetic energy when the water moved downwards. More kinetic energy would be in the turbine, turning the turbine faster. The generator would generate more electricity. Explanation: building the dam higher increases the potential energy of the water, which then converts to kinetic energy as the water moves downwards. This kinetic energy turns the turbine faster, leading to more electricity generation. Jim has a toy train that runs on batteries. He placed plates of food on the train, shown below. Jim did not change the batteries. Explain why the train moved faster as the food was removed. When food was removed, the mass of the train decreased. Less electrical energy was converted to heat energy. More electrical energy was converted to kinetic energy, so the train moved faster. Explanation: removing the food decreases the mass of the train. Less electrical energy is converted to heat energy and more is converted to kinetic energy, which makes the train move faster. Tina set up the apparatus below to investigate how her toy car can move on its own along the plastic track from A down to B, up to C before leaving at D. C is at a fixed height above B. When Tina released the car at A, it moved past B, but was unable to reach C. Explain why. There was insufficient kinetic energy that could be converted to potential energy for the car to reach C. Explanation: make sure to use the exact terminology specified in the question, such as insufficient instead of not enough. B. Without using different apparatus and additional materials, suggest one different way to help the car reach C in this investigation. Adjust the track at position A so that it is higher above the ground / push the car with more force when it is released. Explanation: focus on adjusting the track's height or applying more force to the car. It's important to consider the specific methods outlined in the question's context. Align more closely with the given criteria. John carried out the experiment shown below. He heated the water in the flask using an electric heater. After some time, he noticed that the paper windmill started to spin. When John increased the temperature of the heater, he realized that the windmill began to spin faster. Explain why. As there is an increase in temperature, water gains heat more/gains heat faster and evaporates to steam/water vapor at a faster rate. Windmill had more kinetic energy, causing it to spin faster. Explanation: the question is asking about the relationship between the increase in temperature and the spinning of the windmill. Focus on explaining how the increase in temperature affects the water and subsequently the windmill. Include specific keywords related to the process of heating and the resulting motion of the windmill.